The movie begins in the quiet town of Summerton, Arizona. Sheriff Ray Owens, taking a day off, chooses to stay behind while most of the town heads out for a football game. When the mayor parks his Corvette Camaro in a fire lane, Ray warns him about it. The mayor casually hands Ray the keys just in case the car needs to be moved for an emergency. Later, at a local diner, Ray notices two suspicious truckers quickly leaving once they realize he's the sheriff. Sensing something off, Ray jots down their license plate number as they drive away. Elsewhere, deputies Jerry Bailey and Mike Figuerola are goofing around at the farm of eccentric gun enthusiast Louis Dinkum, shooting at meat slabs with vintage firearms. Jerry ends up breaking his nose from the recoil of a powerful pistol. Ray soon shows up, irritated to find his deputies wasting time. He questions the legality of the heavy weaponry, but Louis explains he runs a firearm museum and is licensed to possess such guns. Mike defends their behavior, saying there's not much happening in town anyway. Ray brushes it off and orders Mike to run the plates of the two truckers from earlier. Meanwhile, the truckers arrive at a local farm where they're joined by a group of armed men, revealing that one of the truckers, Thomas Burrell, is their leader. Burrell approaches the farmer, Mr. Parsons, claiming they're there to shoot a commercial. Parsons doesn't buy it and tells them to leave. Even after being offered a large sum of money, Parsons refuses to negotiate. Instead, he fires a warning shot with his shotgun, forcing Burrell to back off. But as Burrell turns to leave, one of his men suddenly shoots Parsons dead. Back at the Summerton police station, Deputy Sarah Torrance has arrested her ex-boyfriend, Frank Martinez, a former Marine struggling with PTSD, for drunk and disorderly conduct. Frank also happens to be the best friend of Jerry, who tries to vouch for him and persuade Sarah to let him go. Mike walks in and firmly reminds them that Ray ordered Frank to remain in custody for the weekend. Later that night, at Ray's home, Jerry drops off the report on the truck's license plate. It comes back clean. Jerry tells Ray that he wants a transfer as he wants an assignment where there is some action. Ray wants him to get him a job in LA, but Ray tries to counsel him that LA is not what it seems to be. Ray agrees to help if that's what Jerry really wants. That same night, over in Las Vegas, a covert FBI operation is underway. Agent John Bannister is leading the high-security transfer of Gabriel Cortez, a ruthless drug cartel boss, to federal death row. During the transport, a massive electromagnetic crane suddenly lifts the armored van carrying Cortez. Inside, Cortez overpowers the officer guarding him. As the van is pulled into the air, one of Cortez's mercenaries stationed above kills the driver and provides cover fire. The van is hauled up to a nearby rooftop where FBI agents storm the building in pursuit. On the roof, the van is lowered and the doors are blown open by the cartel team. Cortez and his men set up zip lines and swiftly escape to a neighboring building. When the agents finally reach the rooftop, Cortez is already gone. The cartel used decoys dressed in orange prison jumpsuits to confuse them, while the real Cortez changes into a sleek suit inside an elevator. Outside, in an alley, Cortez ambushes two FBI agents with a car. He kills one and kidnaps the other, Agent Ellen Richards, then speeds off into the night. Back in Summerton, Ray receives a call from Christie at the diner. She's concerned because Mr. Parsons, who's never missed a milk delivery in her memory, didn't show up that morning. Fearing he may have had a heart attack, she asks Ray to check on him. Ray sends deputies Jerry and Sarah to Parsons' farm, where they make a grim discovery. Mr. Parsons has been murdered. When Ray arrives to inspect the scene, he notices the bullet wound and remarks that the round passed clean through, something a regular pistol wouldn't have done. Meanwhile, at FBI headquarters, Bannister and his team managed to identify Cortez's getaway vehicle, a heavily modified Corvette ZR1. While the standard version boasts around 700 horsepower, this custom build pushes over 1,000. Then, Bannister receives a chilling call from Cortez himself. He threatens to cut Richards into 100 pieces and mail them back one by one. He demands that Bannister stop his pursuit and stay out of his way. Using intel from the ZR1's movements, Bannister sets up a roadblock in Bullhead City, Arizona, but they're not ready for what's coming. Two armored vehicles roll up and unleash a hail of gunfire, mowing down the officers. Then a follow-up truck crashes through the blockade debris, clearing a path for Cortez to blast through untouched. In a shocking twist, Cortez shows Ellen a bank transfer on his phone. $3 million wired to her account, revealing that she helped orchestrate his escape. Bannister calls Ray to warn him that an extremely dangerous fugitive is heading his way, but instructs him to stand down and stay out of it. Meanwhile, deputies Jerry and Sarah spot tire tracks and decide to follow them. The trail leads to a remote canyon where they unexpectedly stumble upon Cortez's heavily armed mercenaries. After alerting Ray over the radio, Jerry steps out to confront them, but is immediately shot. Sarah dives for cover as the mercenaries unleash a hail of bullets, pinning her down. They then switch off their lights and activate night vision goggles, giving them a huge tactical advantage. Just in time, Ray arrives. He takes out 2 mercenaries and uses his vehicle to shield Sarah, allowing her to drag Jerry to safety. As they escape, a bazooka is fired at them, but misses and destroys another car instead. Ray races to the hospital, but Jerry's wounds are too severe. Tragically, he doesn't survive. Furious and grieving, Ray contacts Bannister, demanding support. He warns that the fugitive is attempting to build a mobile bridge through the canyon to cross the border and that he's backed by a heavily armed team with military-grade weapons. Bannister, skeptical, initially dismisses Ray's claims, but still agrees to send a SWAT unit to Summerton just in case. Back at FBI headquarters, Bannister re-examines surveillance footage of Ellen's kidnapping. Convinced the escape was an inside job, he orders a financial background check on every agent involved to figure out how Cortez managed to pull off such a well-coordinated breakout. Meanwhile, Cortez continues racing towards the border. Using his expert driving skills, he disables 2 SWAT vehicles en route to Summerton, eliminating obstacles with ease. Back in Summerton, Sarah and Mike argue that capturing Cortez should be the FBI's responsibility, not theirs. But Ray stands firm. Cortez's men killed Jerry and are using their town to escape. That makes it their fight. Frank, who was close friends with Jerry, offers to help. Seeing no other option, Ray releases him from the holding cell and deputizes him on the spot. Ray also enlists Louis Dinkum, who proudly unveils his secret weapon, a vintage 1939 Vickers machine gun. Meanwhile, FBI agent Bannister and his team board a plane to Summerton to personally investigate Ray's claims. Back in town, Ray and his small team begin preparing a blockade using vehicles, determined to stop Cortez from crossing through. They warn all civilians to stay indoors for their safety. While in the air, Bannister receives a live satellite feed of Summerton. To his shock, he sees Cortez's men constructing a mobile bridge across the canyon, solid proof that Ray was telling the truth. On the ground, Cortez's mercenaries, heavily armed, roll into town to secure the path for his arrival. Sarah takes position on a rooftop while Mike acts as a decoy. A mercenary fires a bazooka, obliterating the vehicle he was using as cover. Mike rolls out and opens fire with his Tommy gun, forcing the attackers to scramble. Moments later, a sniper hits Mike in the shoulder, but Sarah quickly takes out the shooter. Sarah's rooftop position is now compromised, and enemy fire rains down on her. Just then, a school bus barrels into the scene and skids to a halt. The back doors burst open. Ray and Louis unleash the Vickers machine gun mounted inside, mowing down 5 of the mercenaries in seconds. Then, Frank uses the bus to block off the road, but the team finds themselves under heavy fire and pinned down. Seizing the moment, Ray slips into the diner and starts climbing to the roof for a better vantage point. At the school bus, Louis is under heavy fire from all directions. Meanwhile, a mercenary storms into the building where Sarah is hiding. Just as she's about to be ambushed, Frank bursts in to save her. Up on the roof, Ray takes down one attacker while Frank eliminates the one inside. Louis steps off the bus to help Mike, but before he can reach him, Burrell shoots him. This leads to a final showdown between Ray and Burrell. Burrell tries to hijack the bus and drive it through the barricade, but Ray fires from underneath, grazing Burrell's ear. Dazed and bleeding, Burrell stumbles and Ray ends it with a clean shot between the eyes. Just then, Cortez's ZR-1 barrels into town, swerving around the barricades as Ray and the deputies open fire. Cortez ejects Richards from the vehicle and speeds off through a cornfield. Suddenly, he collides with the mayor's Camaro, now commandeered by Ray. The crash leaves both vehicles wrecked near a tractor. Cortez stumbles out and tries to flee on foot, but Ray intercepts him at the bridge. Cortez tries to bribe Ray, but Ray refuses. The two engage in a brutal fight. Though Cortez slashes and stabs Ray with a push dagger, the sheriff overpowers him, cuffs him, and drags the infamous drug lord back into town using the mangled Camaro. Bannister finally arrives and takes Cortez into custody. He also arrests Richards for accepting Cortez's bribe and aiding in his escape. Mike and Lewis are transported to the hospital for treatment. Meanwhile, Frank returns the deputy badge Ray gave him earlier, believing he was only a temporary recruit. But Ray tells him to keep it. He's earned it. As the mayor stares in horror at his destroyed Camaro, Ray casually reminds him not to park in the fire lane next time.
If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button. And if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.